Alrighty here. So right now I'm going to show you how I organize my plugins. Um, so yeah, I've been getting to the point where, and I'm sure if you're watching this, you're at the point too, where you just have like so much stuff and so many sounds and instruments and plugins and whatever. Um, and you're starting to get a little tired of fishing around in all this nonsense where you're like, right? I was kind of coasting on the search bar. Maybe you are too. You do things like this, search for this. But this is a problem because not every plugin has like the word compressor in it, so you're gonna like you get to a point where you just forget what you have, and if you don't know the name of the plugin offhand, you gotta organize it. I just bought and did another video. I could link to it. Let's did another video about this plugin alliance deal where I didn't buy, but at least subscribe to a bunch of these plugins, not all of which I'm familiar with. So um, I had to just like come up with a system to start organizing this stuff because this is getting too out of control. In a good way. It's nice to have options and tools and be able to do stuff. So anyway, so here's what I would suggest. Right, Ableton, at least in Ableton 10, when I'm making this, you can't like sort stuff in these menus super easy. Right. So what you have to do instead, right, and this is what I did. I went into my user library, right? And I just ended up making a new folder, right? Um, and I just called it like, yeah, plugins by category. Let me see, show this in the Finder, right? Um, yeah. Okay, so yeah, I guess the folder in here is plugins sorted, right? This is just in my Ableton user library. You just make a new folder. You could call it whatever you want, like, you just go up here, new folder, and just say whatever you want, right? Okay, great. So I'm just fuck that. Okay. So anyway, so you can make it whatever you want. I just called it plugins sorted, right? Then once you're in here, right? Once you're in Ableton, right? You can rename it to other things too, but that's gonna be the folder, right? Um, and then within that, I just went in here and I said new folder. I just made a folder for each category of thing that I wanted to have in one place. So like here, all my compressors, even though I like some of them don't have the name compressor in them, like SPL iron, like that could be, I don't know what that is, like, um, but yeah, so you just have this all right up here. So you can again, you could just go to compressors, or you could even just search. Oh shit, right? Search compressor, right? And then we get a couple different things. We get this stuff in my mastering folder, my compressors folder, my multi-band folder. Okay, right. So anyway, this is so far this has been like really nice in the last couple mixes and projects I've worked on, just like the last week or two. So this is super helpful. I recommend doing it. Very easy to do. A couple things you got to know. Let me just try to save you some frustration, right? So if you go into your plugins, let's open up. It says VST. These are VST2 plugins, right? Let me open up. I don't know. Let me see. Let's try maybe one of the ones we just got. How about that? No, not UAD. One of these new ones, right? So whatever. I don't even know what this is. It's an EQ. Sweet. Okay. Cool. Oh wait, no, it's not an EQ. It looks like no, it's like a Pultec kind of thing, right? So we have. Oh, whatever. Okay, so it is what it is. It's a VST2. If like say I have I believe I have a filter folder. Yeah. So if you take this guy and try to drag it in, it won't let you, right? Conversely, if you try this with a VST3 plugin, right? You just open up this compressor, right? So this Acme Opticon thing, right? This is a VST3. This will let you, right? So if I try to drag this in, you see it gives me the option of dropping it in one of these folders, right? So what I did, a lot of these, the VST3 plugins I have, I just dropped them in. Like I think all the new ones I got from Plugin Alliance are all VST3. So cool, I could just drop them in. It's easy. But if you're like me and you have a bunch of old plugins that you just like, and you still want to use them, but they're VST2 and it won't let you do this, right? Little bit of annoying solution, but it is a solution, right? You just go to your plugin, right, that you want to drag in here, right? And you're on the Mac, you're gonna hit Command G, and that's gonna put it into a group. And I mean, you could name this. You could. I normally will like name them if I make like a whole rack, like if I have a vocal chain or something. But this is all you need, right? Then you could take this and drop it in, right? So let me put this in here, right? And then you gotta type the name in, right? This sucks, right? I typed it wrong. Good job. Well, anyway, that's what you can do, right? And I believe the little icon will change. Like this, like T-shaped thing is a rack, and then the one with just the line is like a VST3 plugin, right? Yeah, I believe that's right. Yeah, because it ends in VST preset suffix, whereas the racks are going to end in .adg, right? So anyway, this is how I do it. It's a little, if you have a lot of plugins, it's a little typing and it's a little annoying to make this rack. Honestly, like, I think it's worth the time. Just like throw in a record, throw in some Netflix or something, and just bang it out. Like that's what I would do. Because once it's done, it saves a ton of time. And you could make these categories whatever you like. Like in my case, just run it down. I have a bunch of channel strip plugins. So channel strips, compressors, EQ, for sure you're gonna have those. Delays, modulation. I think these are all like wide categories that make sense. Some people might put their limiter and their compressors together. Like you could make a folder that just says dynamics, right? And put all that in there. I like to break it up. That's just me. I have another one for guitar and bass tools. I have a bunch of like amp emulations and pedals and stuff like that. Oh, most people are gonna have a reverb one, right? Very important. This is a fun category that I think maybe is harder to describe, right? But it's like this one and this one, right? This tone, character, exciter, saturate. This is all like my distortion plugins or my excitation stuff that's gonna juice up a signal, right? Or add something to it. Whereas like this one, this is even a wider category. Low end, creative effects, glitchy, right? So this is more like my creative tools. Like this plugin, Hysteresis, wild plugin, right? It's kind of old, but it does cool things. It's like, it has a very specific sound that I like. So I've been using that thing for years at this point. Yeah, but even then, like, what's a good example? Like, vocal enhancer, maybe. Actually, I know what I'll put in here. Right, I'll categorize one now. Like, this kind of fits in here. Oh, that's another thing. You can have the same plugins in multiple bins in here, which sometimes makes sense. Like, for instance, this is a good example, right? Vocal enhancer, right? It's living in this low-end creative effects, glitchy kind of catch-all category, but I think this should also go in vocal chains. So there we go, right? This is a vocal chain I built for the guy I was just working with. I'm starting to build more chains that I just can drag in, right? So more templates just to be more efficient. But this plugin probably should live in there, right? Because it can do a couple things that I think that make sense. Or maybe I even drop this into one of my I make like a vocal chain preset or a preset rack or whatever. So yeah, that could probably live in there. Virtual instruments, this is always good. Quick note, also, this is all my like third-party plugins. What I don't sort is the Ableton ones because I think these are sorted fine, and also I use these so much. I use so much of the stock Ableton stuff that I could maybe write this list out like from memory. I've just spent so much hands-on time here. So, and also there's only one of each thing, right? It's not like this where I open up my EQs and I got all kinds of shit going on, right? Here, my EQ options, I basically know what they are. I know we got channel EQ, I got EQ3, EQ8, right? Done, pretty much. Is that it, right? EQ3, EQ8, channel EQ. I think that's all your options, right? Let's see if I put my money where my mouth is. Did I miss any? No, I think that's it, right? So yeah, like, other than that, like, there's two compressors in here. There's the regular compressor, right, which is pretty neutral and easy to use, right, which I love. The glue compressor, which has also easy to use, but it has like a color to it. Okay, cool. Yeah, so anyway, that's why I don't really include that in this plugin category, right? It's just I know those too well, and it's a little bit more limited. So anyway, that's how I do it. You could do this, like I do this with virtual instruments. You could build racks of stuff, whatever categories. But I think this is a really efficient way to just get working and get more efficient when you're trying to just go fast, right? Or if you're in a session and you're like, oh, I need just like a good opto compressor. Okay, just drag some in, right? It's good to have it all laid out here. It's searchable, right? So anyway, that's what I would recommend. That's all I got for today. Like, subscribe, comment. You know what to do. It's almost 2020. You know how YouTube works. All right. Peace.